Hi everyone, it's Jillian, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with the college application process and give you some tips on how you can get through it too. Since this process is officially over for me, thank God, I wanted to give a little insight into what I thought I did well versus what I may have gone back and changed if I could, and just overall how I got through it without having 20,000 mental breakdowns. So I really hope that you find this video helpful, and if you do, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have any other video ideas that you want me to do, definitely leave a comment and I will get to that. I always try to answer every single comment because I love just talking to you guys, and it's still honestly so crazy that people actually watch these videos. So I really hope you find this video helpful, and if you do, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and if you have any other video suggestions, comment those down below as well. I answer every single comment, and I really love just interacting with you guys and answering your questions and stuff. It's still so crazy to me that people actually watch my videos and actually subscribe to my channel and leave comments and so it's just super cool, and I really want to keep making videos because I love doing that. I really appreciate all the comments that are left on the channel, so I decided to start a comment shout out in each of my videos. So here's this one for this week, because I just really appreciate you guys whenever you comment or ask questions or do anything like that. So it's really cool, and please continue to do that because I love talking to you guys. So without further ado, let's just get into the video, because I have 5 great tips for you guys to help get through the process if you are slightly unmotivated and stressed. The very first tip, and it happens at the very beginning of your application process, so this is a great tip to take with you as you're going into that very first step, is to be smart about where you're applying. And this is one of the things that I really didn't do too well on. As you saw in my college reactions video, I applied to I think 10 or 11 schools, which compared to a lot of people on YouTube, that actually doesn't seem like very many, but the typical person probably applies to maybe 5 to 7 places. Basically, this is what happened. I started with maybe 5 schools, and then I got stressed that I wouldn't get into those, so then I applied to 8, and then I was like, oh wait, I want to apply to more, because what if I don't get into those 8? So then I applied to 2 or 3 more. It just kept piling on, and obviously I was stressed at the time, so that was why I was doing it, but it was still super stressful to keep adding new applications and new supplemental essays to write onto my already very full plate. So the first thing that I would say to do is to pick at least 1 to 3 safety schools that you want to do, and I call them safety schools, but they really shouldn't be thought of in that way, because they're safety in the sense that if you don't get into your other schools, you would be perfectly happy going there. And I think that's a hard balance to find. So it was a little bit different for me, because in Texas, the top 6% is actually automatically admitted into UT Austin, which is really nice. So I in no way considered that a safety, because it's such a great school. But if I didn't have that, I think that I would pick 1 to 3 schools that I would still be perfectly happy going to if I didn't get into any of my other schools. So this kind of connects to my tip number 5, which I'm saving for last because it is my absolute #1 tip. This definitely got me through the college application process. If I didn't do this, I would have been at least 10 times more stressed, and I was already very stressed. So definitely make sure to listen to that, because I have been telling this to literally every single person that I know that's going through this next year. So my second tip for you guys is to not write all your essays in one place. So I think this is super important. When I was going through the application process, for some reason I could not write my essays in the same spot. I usually work at my kitchen table, and that usually works for me for most schoolwork and stuff. So overall I would stay in the same spot, and it was working okay. But for college apps, when you're sitting in the same spot trying to write essays for hours on end, I feel I just get bogged down when I sit in the same spot over and over again. So what I did during college apps is every time I would sit down to do something for college, I would go to a different place, and this would range from either my kitchen table, which is where I usually work, to my room, to sometimes my dad's office. I would always go to coffee shops and libraries, so if you have a Starbucks nearby, that's perfect to go. Just grab a latte and sit and work. Put in your headphones. It really helps clear your mind when you're moving into a different spot over and over again, instead of sitting in the same spot, because when you're in the same spot, you tend to have the same ideas, and when you move to a fresh location, then your mind will just be fresher. At least that definitely worked for me. Another great example of where you can write your essays is literally just sitting right next to your friends. I always went to coffee shops with my friends and just sat in silence with our headphones in and wrote right next to each other, which sounds kind of lame and boring, but it actually makes everything so much better because just having your friend next to you really makes it feel so much less like you're doing work and more like you're having fun together. Tip number 3 is definitely going to be a little bit trickier to follow for those of you who are going for the top schools, who are super stressed and high-strung and just really want to get into those schools and want to do anything it takes, and that is to take a break. And I am definitely not the best at following this advice because during this process I would constantly just sit at my desk, and if I was stressed I would be like, I have to work because I'm stressed, and once I get the work done then I won't be stressed. But the problem with that is that you always have more work ahead of you in this process because there's so much stuff to do. You literally won't be done until you submit your last application, and this process lasts like 3 or 4 months. So my advice to you is to make a list of things that you would want to do to take a break that just clears your mind. So this could be anything from listening to music and laying in bed, or playing an instrument, or spending time with your family, or laying with your dog, or anything like that. Just something that calms you down, something that genuinely makes you happy and you genuinely enjoy. So tip number 4 is also going to be kind of a hard one, but once you start doing it, it's actually so easy and it's so much better. Like, you will instantly feel better after doing this, and it's to get organized with your stuff. So what I did for this is I honestly just went into PowerPoint and I made a table like this, and I would just have titles on the screen that's to do, doing, and then done. And what I did on this list is I put every single supplement that I had to do for each school. So basically, if I had, let's say like the UCs, I would put like PIQ number 1, PIQ number 2, PIQ number 3, PIQ number 4. If you're like a visual person like me, this definitely helps, because if you don't have everything written out, you tend to get it all just in your head, and then it gets really stressful because you really think that you have so much stuff. But if you write everything out, it seems more just like a little checklist that like, oh, you like write something and then you're done. So that is super nice to just have that laid out for you. Of course, an alternate for this is just to do it on a piece of paper and make little boxes and just check them off by hand when you're done. And I actually used a strategy for my online classes the past few months, and I would just make them weekly, and as I would get assignments done I would just check it off, and it was super nice to have everything that organized because then I could just know exactly what I needed to do for that week and make shorter to-do lists for each day off of that to-do list, and it was just great. I like lists. So tip number 5, this is the golden rule when you're doing this process, and it is to not get attached to a school. I know that I got into my dream school in my college decisions reactions title, but if I didn't get into Berkeley, that MET program, I really wouldn't have been that upset. And the reason being is that I never let myself get attached to the school or the program, even though it was the perfect program for me and I knew that if I got in I would 100% go. I made sure that I never did anything to make myself want to go other than read about the program. With this being said, make sure that you do your research on the school, make sure you want to apply to a school, and I'm gonna make a video on how to choose schools to apply to, but do not watch those day in the life videos that all your favorite YouTubers are putting out. All those videos do is make you want to go to that school more, and it doesn't really matter how many videos you watch of that if you don't get into the school. All it will do is make you want to go to that school more. It's kind of like an endless loop where you want to go to the school, so you watch the day in the life videos, but then you just want to go to the school more. And come March, if you do get into that school, you can watch as many day in the life videos as you want. I didn't watch any day in the life videos until I got into Berkeley, and then I watched the videos, and it just made me so excited because I knew that I would actually be experiencing that next year. And I think that's something that you don't get to feel when you're watching those videos during your college application season, because it's just making you more stressed, honestly. So there you have it. Those are my 5 golden rules for surviving this college application process, and you don't have to follow these exactly, but I really think that this helps just alleviate some stress during this time because I know it's such a rough time. If you found this video helpful, definitely make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more college application videos. I have something really exciting coming up. I had such a good idea the other day and I can't reveal it now, but I am so excited to make these videos because I have something really exciting planned. So definitely make sure to subscribe if you want to find out what that is. I'll be answering every single comment on this video, so if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out, and make sure to look in the description if you want any more information about my essay editing business. Alright, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!